Hello. Hey guys, welcome to the live stream special Friday night edition. But there are so many big stories developing right now in the precious metals market all over the world. But we want to look at some big stories that we learned about this week that are going to have a major impact on the price of gold and silver as we head to the end of the year and into 2025. We did learn this week that the Chinese central bank, at least there is strong speculation. Some people are even saying proof that the Chinese central bank bought 60 tons of gold and did it in somewhat of a secretive manner. Guys, we know what's happening with China. We know what's happening with India. There's new data coming out about India, the premiums on the gold price. The Indians are going gold and silver crazy again. They're piling more and more money into their what are called ETP products, which, as I understand, are the same as our ETF products. But China and India are going to continue to be major drivers of the gold and silver trade as we move into the end of the year. Thank you for being here, by the way, on a Friday night, right? We're doing a Snap live stream because there's so much going on. Let's go take a look at the silver and gold price today and see what type of activity or action we had. And I think you have a smile on your face today because we'll press the old button there. Silver up 46 cents per ounce, $30.70. Gold hanging in there, $2,655. I want to say thank you to channel sponsor Pimbex. Every day is Black Friday at Pimbex. You'll always get ultra competitive pricing, a great selection, and a company you can trust. You can trust me when I tell you that I've had overwhelmingly positive response from our community, the people like you who gave Pimbex a chance. So please, they sponsor the basement. They make this possible. But let's go out and take a look at, first, we'll look at the silver price. I noticed something interesting developing on the chart here. Let's draw the line. Let's draw a couple of lines. First off, guys, we are holding the line, essentially, this upward support line from around the $26.50 mark. Remember back in August when silver hit $26.50 per ounce? Obviously, we shot all the way up here to $35 around Halloween, came back down. But silver, once again, is fighting a good fight at that $30 level. It's been, maybe about 2 weeks now. What I'm seeing starting to develop, can you see this? Am I seeing things? Right? A wedge pattern. So we are going to break out here probably next week. It's going to be hard for silver to keep at this exact same level. Eventually, right, as time goes by, if you follow my yellow arrow out here a week or 2 weeks from now, we are either heading up this way or down this way with the price. I think we all know where we believe it will go and where we want it to go, but it will be interesting to see how that plays out. Now, let's look at gold. I just want to point something interesting that I was observing about gold. We know that last weekend we had a gold price that was above $2,700 at the end of the week. Let me just do a 1 month chart here. Okay, so this would have been last Friday, right? We closed above $2,700. We were all rejoicing. What I found interesting is that we essentially, right, we closed at 2,700, quickly went down to 2,600, 2,615 basically. But then throughout the rest of the week, gold fought back and recovered about half of that loss that it incurred on Monday and Tuesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and obviously what we saw today, up $17 is a good sign for gold. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out to the end of the year. I wouldn't rule out, the possibility that we get a 3 or 4 week rally in the gold and silver price as we head through the end of the year. $44 silver by Christmas. I know it's looking unlikely, but I will stick by my projection. Something else super interesting that I think, whether you're a crypto person or you're not, some people love crypto. Some people love both precious metals and crypto, and some people love just their precious metals. But no matter what, we learned something so interesting today. It came from Ronnie Stoufferle. We learned it this week. He pointed something out, guys. Competition is good, right? In any market, competition is good. So the fact that gold and silver are now getting a little bit of competition from the crypto market can work to the benefit of silver and gold. We got a couple things to consider with that. It's raising awareness of people out there about the dangers of the fiat paper money systems. Okay. It's raising awareness of the general public about the idea of investing in assets that are real, that are, and you may argue or not argue that crypto is real. I won't go down that path, but it's raising awareness of people in the market of the risk that they're taking by keeping their money in the bank, by keeping their money in cash. And in the end, and I'd never thought of that before, I don't know if you had, in the end, that competition is good, right? Both asset classes could conceivably thrive here as we go into the next 10 or so years. I'm not a crypto guy, okay? Nothing against it. I'm not anti-crypto. I'm a gold and silver guy. But when I heard Ronnie Stoufferle bring that up, and it was in a tweet, if I never thought about that, right? Like, it is helping both segments of the market. So I wanted to present that. Don't forget, I'll keep repeating it because to me, it's one of the best pieces of news that nobody's making a big deal out of, but it is a big deal, right? We know, how many times have we talked about things as basement dwellers that hardly nobody else was talking about that turned into big deals? I can't think of any examples right now, but I know we did. The fact that we've got a new Treasury Secretary coming in who's a gold bug, I can't get over how positive that will be for precious metals. On top of that, you've got Dr. Shelton, Judy Shelton, right? Who Trump may try to put back on the Federal Reserve again. But our Treasury Secretary is a gold bug. I'm sorry. I can't stop. And I don't think that the silver and gold community is giving that piece of news enough credit or interest or headlines. I think it's the biggest news story of the week. We are headed for a recession. Here, look at this. Look at this. Here's a great story from Zero Hedge. Adam Taggart, the guy that does thoughtful money, he did an interview. The economy is very shaky. Unemployment likely to surge. That's from Anna Wong from Bloomberg. She's Dr. Anna Wong. She's chief U.S. economist for Bloomberg Economics. Prior to her current role, Anna also worked at the Federal Reserve Board, the White House Council of Economic Advisors, and the U.S. Treasury. And she's saying that the economy is very shaky. Somewhere in here, here she goes. The punchline is that, yes, Anna still expects the unemployment rate to surge higher throughout 2025. That forecast, plus a number of other structural issues that she discusses in this interview with Adam Taggart, makes today's economy look very shaky to her. She basically said somewhere in here that Donald Trump is inheriting a very, very, very precarious situation in the U.S. economy. I want to run out here real quickly and just run through these super fast. But Oren, the Silver Hermit, was on the show earlier in the week, and three of his charts, right, in no uncertain terms, show us that we are in some serious potential for economic doom. This is the Fed interest rate. And as you can see, the red arrows, 2000, when they started cutting rates. This is the Fed interest rate over here. We're going to check on that in a second as well. When we had a recession, that's the dark area. Same thing here, recession. Same thing here, recession. And do you see where we are right now on the far right-hand side? I don't think you can see my arrow on the screen, but we're rolling over again. That fourth red arrow is where we are now. As you can see, right after the previous three red arrows, we had a recession. This shows the yield curve inversion when the rate on the 10-year bond becomes lower than the rate on the 2-year bond. These are the red shaded areas. All right, that happened back in 1980. And the point here is almost always immediately after that's the case, that the yield curve inverts, which is the pink area, you get a gray area. And if you look at the top, the gray areas are recessions. If you look over to the far right-hand side, you can see we are inverted, all right, and just coming out of it, which means we should, right? Like if this has worked every other time in the past, we likely are headed into a recession. And this shows the unemployment rate, all the red arrows you can see going all the way back to 1950. When the unemployment rate starts to slowly go up, there's always a recession afterwards. If you look to the far right-hand side, you got to kind of take out the C19 period. That was an outlier. But if you look where we are now, right, we're starting to head up. Again, strong indication that we could be headed for a recession. Let's go take a look here, guys. Let me say hi to you first. Thank you, all you basement dwellers. 300 on a Friday night. You are the most important part of the basement. You have a name. You are important, right? This is a community. It's not a community without you. So thank you. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to come back. We'd love to have you back. Talk about silver and gold. Thumbs up are always appreciated. Super chats, super appreciated. Never expected. Let's go look, because this has been moving, and this will have an impact on the silver and gold price. I was surprised earlier today. I look at this, guys. We are now at a 66% chance that at the next Fed meeting, which will be on the 18th of December, so 2.5 weeks, probably 2 weeks from this Thursday, the market is now pricing in a 66% chance that the Fed is going to cut rates. Is that why the dollar was going down today? Is that why the gold and silver price were going up today? But let's update this, because it may have changed. I may have just been telling you inaccurate data. Nope, still at 66%. If we go out, let's just for kicks and grins, let's go out all the way to October of next year and see what the market expects for interest rates. This is interesting. Okay. So the market, wow, the market expects there's only a 1% chance. If you look on the far right-hand side, see the 450 to 475? That's where we are right now, 4.5 to 4.75. The market is really pricing in, wow, the market's got like a 22% chance that rates are going to drop by a full percent a year from now, and a 30% chance that we're going to be down by 0.75%. That would be from 4.5 down to 3.75. And again, that's for October of next year. Lower interest rates, lower dollar will be very bullish for the price of silver and gold. Okay, we had a massive move in just the last few days in the dollar index. Crazy move. Let's just get an update on that and see where that closed today, because it will undoubtedly have a major impact on the price of gold and silver as we go through these next coming months. Hold on here. Let's update this. And come on. Hold on. It's loading. How are you doing? Did you get any shopping done today? Wow. Well, below 106. That is incredible, guys. That's a big move. That is a big, big move. Look at just in the last 5 days how much the dollar has moved from one. That's massive. It was at 107.5. See if I can pull this down a little bit. Well, right up here, this point was 107.5. We're down to 105.8. We've almost dropped 2 full points. That's a massive, big, big, big move in the dollar. Okay. Again, we still have the gold to silver ratio at nosebleed levels. Absolute insanity. The price of silver is going to have what I think Michael Oliver refers to as a slingshot move. And what's a slingshot move? And why is it important if you're a silver investor, and even if you're a gold investor, that you understand what that means? What that means is, as the price of gold continues to move higher, Okay. Silver will naturally get dragged along. But what we've seen happening here over the last, it's been about the last year, really, is that the price of silver hasn't really kept up with the price of gold. So there's that gold to silver ratio, which is that gap between the gold price and the silver price, has been stretched super high levels. It was 87 earlier in the weeks, probably 85 right now, 84. It's still high. So what the slingshot move means is that as gold gets out, and as once that tension gets so big, it'll propel the silver price much faster than what we see in the gold price. Right? We had slingshot moves as an example, 2011, when the price of gold, our price of silver, hit $50 per ounce. Right? It was a slingshot. Right? The same thing happened back in 1980. The price of silver just took off like crazy, in absolute slingshot move. So we got a lot to keep our eyes on in that regard as well. We talked about China earlier. We know what's going on with India and silver. It's unbelievable. I mean, the investments that are going into silver in India. But then this week, another big story that kind of got buried in the precious metals community. Russia is banning the export of any precious metal scrap material from out of the country. They're like, we want it all here. We want to refine it all here. And what we're seeing develop, what that's a great example of, is this massive move going on around the world to kind of nationalize everything, to become protectionist. And there's a reason why us as silver and gold investors are going to pay attention to that, right? Because once countries become so protectionist, this happened during the Great Depression period. It was one of the reasons that exacerbated the Great Depression, is countries start to put tariffs on each other, start to nationalize, start to have import-export bans on certain products, okay? And that's what they're going to start to do with the silver and the gold. And eventually, what happens is, the kicker in all that is they start to not trust each other's currencies as well. And when that happens, guess what they trust? Yeah, you got it. Silver and gold. That's the way it works. It's an interesting situation. Look, the reality of the situation is that we could see a 4 times move in the price of gold, a 4, 5, 10. I know I'm a wild optimist, also known as being a silver pumper, but it's what I believe. It's my truth. And I'm not going to be ashamed to tell you that, yeah, I do think that the potential is there to see a 5, 10x move. I'm not saying it's going to happen next month or next year necessarily, but the potential is there for a massive, massive move in the silver price in particular. The silver price can really slingshot. I'm going to take a second and have a quick drink. I'm having lemonade. Don't you think I'm drinking it? And quite simply, it can happen because of this. There is so little money invested in the precious metals in the United States right now. It's not 0.5%. It's less than 0.5% of like savings and investment money in the United States is in precious metals. If we get back to levels that we've been at in the last 20, 30, 40 years, let's say 4%, 2%, 3%. If we go to 3%, that's 6 times the amount of current money that's invested. And let's just look at silver. In silver, as compared to what we have now, can you not see, if we have 6 times the amount of money coming into the silver market, and in particular on the retail investment side, there will be no silver left. That will not be a good time to be buying silver. You won't even be able to buy silver, I would imagine, at that point. Or if you do, you'll be paying such horrific premiums, right, that it'll be cost prohibitive. You won't want to be doing it, okay? Look, I'm not trying to scare anybody, and I'm not saying that I know for sure that will happen. But I do know one thing for sure, right? And this was from, I think it was Bloomberg, or no, JP Morgan said that over the last 40 years, the average amount of money that the United States citizens had invested in silver and gold was closer to 2%. Okay, that alone is a 4x from where we are right now. Okay, where would that metal come from? Where would that metal come from? Right? It's not like there's an unlimited the silver market in general is very sensitive, right? It really is. I mean, you know that. We said it's bipolar. It doesn't know if it's industrial, doesn't know if it's monetary, or it's both. So it's, or schizophrenic, whatever. It has two personalities, but it's bipolar. It's very moody. It's a very sensitive market. We think everything's fine because, you and I, we can go buy as much silver, but there's not that much out there. It's kind of like, if you heard of that term, just-in-time inventory. That's why, if we have any little disruptions to our supply chain, like we did during the C-19 crisis, right? Like with toilet paper, for instance, or anything, everything is stocked and it's all in real time, but the amount of inventory is very thin. Okay, they use computers and they can, everything communications are so fast. But the reality is that if we get a bunch of people waking up that want to buy silver or gold for that matter, but in particular silver, they can absolutely wipe out the available supplies that are out there. Sorry, I got to show this to you. It had been a couple days, right? And this is why. Because all that money, what we just talked, this is Exter's pyramid. This is an upside down pyramid that was developed as an explanatory diagram by John Exter. He was an employee of the New York Fed, I believe it was, the Federal Reserve. He was a big proponent of real money. Okay, and this upside down pyramid shows that all the money of the world, right, rests on a little point down here. Silver is on the bottom. Gold is right above it. Everything else is man-made. So what we just talked about, if we're going to go from 0.5% to 2%, 3%, 4%, that can easily happen because when you look at how, what the nominal value of the derivatives are in the world, the cryptos, this particular one puts the cryptos up there, and cryptos are man-made, right? Gold and silver are not man-made. Gold and silver are from God, from the earth, however, whatever you choose to believe, but they are not man-made. Man did not invent gold and silver. Man invented base money. Man invented bank money. Man invented government bonds. Man invented corporate bonds, non-monetary commodities. Man definitely invented derivatives. Must have been a real drunk man, right? Those alone are valued at what, like 4 quadrillion or something? And man certainly, although we're not sure who the man was, but some man at some point invented cryptocurrencies. Gold and silver are the only ones that aren't man-made. I would argue that throughout history, okay, this is going to get me a little fired up. Throughout history of the world, from the big dawn of time, any man-made form of money, think about this. Gold, this is not, I am not referring to gold and silver because man did not create gold and silver. God created gold and silver. You want to argue that with me? No, you can't. Right? It's from the earth. It's created by God. Any other form of money from the dawn of time through now that was created by man has become worthless. Think about it. They all have, right? Whatever they use, whatever back in the cavemen times that wasn't, they didn't use money, but you know what I'm saying? Any crazy thing dreamed up 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, look it up. The only value they have now is like archaeological value, but go grab yourself, Buttercup. For those of you joining me from the South, the southern United States, go talk to your great-great-great-grandpa about Confederate dollars. How did they do after the war? That's in no offense. I love the South. I love all that, but that's just a recent-ish example, right? Go talk to the Germans. Talk to Venezuelans. I got Mama. You guys know my friend Mama. She's like 75 years old. She has to work where I go to my little job usually at night as a janitor because she's here. She moved here from Venezuela. She's a wonderful woman, right? But ask her about paper money, right? What is it? The Bolivar, I believe, in Venezuela. It doesn't work. It's always failed. Okay. We are in, I got to read this to you here. All the election uncertainty has gone away. Okay. But now we have entered a whole new set of uncertainty about what's going to happen next. And so why? The reason why, as a gold and silver investor, we need to pay attention to that is because uncertainty is always throughout history, the dawn of time, been a big reason why we want to hold silver and gold. And look at this. I wasn't even going to share this, but I'm going to find it now because I found this kind of startling. Hold on here. Let's go back to Zero Hedge. I want to show you what Vladimir Putin said about Donald Trump, which I found just absolutely startling. There's Zelensky. Putin says Trump is not safe after assassination attempts, and he slams mudslinging against his family. Anyway, I read this article, and basically Putin said he's worried about the safety of Donald Trump. Now, that's coming from Putin, right? The president of Russia, who knows? But I'm just telling you what he said. And he's not saying from Russians. He means, I believe, internally in the United States. We got a lot of uncertainty, right? The election uncertainty, remember? What was it? It was a month ago. It's not even been a month, guys. A month ago, we were saying, oh, there's going to be, people were warning me. Some of you basement dwellers had me a little worried. You were sending me emails saying, don't let your kids go to school the day after the election. Don't, because like there was going to be mayhem everywhere. Well, that all went away. But now we're moving into what could be, right? I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong. I actually thought that, I think the biggest black swan was number one by how much Trump won. But on top of that, how there was no real contention. I think a lot of the Democrats are not happy with the result, and my heart goes out to them. However, the fact that it was such a peaceful, agreed upon situation, I think was a surprise to a lot of people. But I don't think we're out of the woods yet, okay? I don't think we're out of the woods yet. I hope I'm wrong, because I don't want to see any turmoil or hurt or anything like that. But I don't think we're out of the woods yet. I really, really don't. I think we're in, we made it through that uncertainty. Now we have this new uncertainty to come. And on top of that, we don't even know what Trump, is really going to do. Okay. We know his history as a businessman. We know his history as a president. And, let's just say that in both of those circumstances, there's a lot of moving parts. So it's going to be very interesting, especially first year as we move through this. Okay. All right. Let's talk about China one more time. Hold on to your shorts because China could make big waves in the precious metal sector. And there's a couple reasons why. It's easy to understand. Okay. If you're a Chinese person, okay, the Chinese are kind of panicking right now. It's not real good situation in the Chinese economy. So if you're a Chinese person and you have some yuan or whatever that you've saved and you want to do something with it, okay, about your only option is gold and silver. And let me explain to you why. Or a very attractive option for you would be to put it into gold and silver. Let me explain to you why. Because if you live in China, you're experiencing a real estate crash, right? They're going through a real estate turmoil very similar to what happened in the United States during 2008. They're also going through a very difficult period in their stock market, okay? So they don't want to put their money into stocks because they don't have confidence that it's going to do well. They also, Chinese people, you may not know this, but they do not trust banks. They really don't trust banks. So they're not going to put their money in the bank. So they can't put it in the stock market. They don't want to buy real estate. They can't put it in the banks. Oh, and guess what? Guess what? Cryptocurrencies are illegal in China. So they can't put it into crypto. But their only option, if you're a average Chinese guy like me and you, well, we're not, but if we were in China, about our only option is going to be gold and silver. Okay, it's going to be crazy. And you know what? Did you know this? All the gold, and there's not a lot for the Chinese. There's not a lot for anybody. If you take all the gold that was ever mined in the history of the world and put it into one big cube, how big would that cube be? Right? Would it be the size of the Empire State Building? Would it be the size of I don't know, the world's biggest swimming pool? No, it would be a cube that measures 22 meters, 22 yards. When you're watching football, if you watch football next time, look at 20 yards on the field and imagine a cube that long, right? 20 yards one way, 20 yards the other way, and 20 yards up. That would represent all the gold. Well, a little more than that because we're talking meters and we're talking 22 meters, but you get my point. Maybe 25 yards. But that would represent all the gold that was ever mined in the history of the world. Okay. You know what? Think about here. Unlimited. I know you want it, right? Your eyes, you're brainwashed like me. We think this paper is worth something. Unlimited. Think about the gold in the world. Limited. Okay. Limited. But then think about the silver. Have you processed this idea that we know how much gold. Silver's a little harder to calculate, but we know a couple things for sure. We know that there's only been a certain amount of silver ever dug up in the history of the world. Okay. We know that a lot of that's been used by industry. Okay. So, and we know that it's continuing to be the demand for silver is continuing to grow for industry. We know for sure, although we don't know for sure what the number is, but we know for sure that right now, as you and I are speaking, there's a certain number of ounces of silver above ground in the world. The other thing we know is that because of the deficit, that amount of silver, right, there's some added to it from the mines every year, but then what's being taken out, right? So this is the amount of silver in the world right now, okay? This much is being added to it from mining activities. But because of industrial demand, this much more is being taken out. This is a real number. It's a real, now, even though we can't definitively say, right, if we had some godly powers, we could figure that out, but we don't know for sure. But we know that this is a real number. And we know that now every year that amount is going down, down, down. Here's another way to look at it. Let me pull this up. Peter Krauss shared this, I think, a couple times this week. Where is it? There it is. Okay, this is Peter Krauss, the guy that wrote the book, The Silver Bull, The Silver Supply Deficit. And this comes from Mining Visuals. Let me see if I can make this bigger for us. Hold on here. Okay, this is beautiful for us. Well, anyway, the orange is the deficit. Okay, that down, you can't really see that. I apologize, guys. Let me see. Hold on here. That's easier to see on this page. All right. I'll make it bigger. I promise. Hold on. Let's see if I can make it a little bit bigger for you. There we go. Oh my gosh. There's Peter Krauss. That's his book, The Great Silver Bull. I've never met him, but oh no, there's Jake's Custom Parts. Hold on here. All right. Boy, the wheels are coming off the bus. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I want to search. We're going to get there. There he is, Peter Krauss. Oh, maybe that's what I did wrong. That shows the amount of money. We're going to put that tomorrow. There it is. The amount of money going into Indian ETFs. That orange is that amount of silver that is being extracted from whatever that above ground number is per year. Okay. We're talking about, I believe this year, what are we at? 253 million ounces. It's real. It's happening, and it will catch up. Peter Croth has said that he thinks that it could be like 18 months and that we could see this definitive like issue in the silver market because of a shortage. And I'm telling you guys, that amount of silver that's sitting there being used by as retail investment, it can go bye-bye, and it can go bye-bye very, very, very quickly. Hey, I want to mention to you guys, it is Black Friday. It's shopping season. If you know a stacker that likes unique little products, check out DirtyMan SAFE. They've got a special right now with the promo code RON10 where you get 10% off. Let me show you real quickly. I think these things are cool. I was very impressed. They sent me this one. When you get it, oh no, oh boy, sorry about that. You get this tube, all right, and you get the cap, but you get the safe. This is I believe the Dirty Girl. And this thing is like robust, okay? And I always do this the wrong way. There she is. All right, I got my little unicorn in there. But you can put silver in here, gold, car keys, bananas, whatever floats your boat. But basically, it allows you dig a hole, you put this tube down in the hole, then you seal it up, and this is cool. That's the Dirty Man. Put that down in the hole, and you then put this cap over the top of it for added protection, and fill it over with a little bit of dirt. I mean, it really is. It's like, it's like you're getting to be like the pirates and have some buried treasure in your yard. Let's see here, guys. Thank you. Okay. This has been fun. Friday night. Thanks to Jake from Jake's Custom Parts. Annie, if you're here. Annie Oakley, the one and only. And Big Tim the Silvershire for their help as moderators. Everybody have a great day. I'll probably be on tomorrow, maybe a little bit later in the morning. I've got some other interesting things. There's so much going on. It's hard to keep track of all this, but I do want to say thank you for being here. Thanks for joining me. Okay. Have a great night. How's everybody doing? Yeah, you. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.